Hey guys, I just want to say hello to all of you that are part of the Startup Circle, and I'm so excited to have you here. I'm Deanna Facello. I'm with Sassy Girl Media. Today I'm going to be talking about goal planning and goal setting with everyone. So get ready. Get ready to start achieving some goals that you have set, whether it's personal goals or professional goals, it doesn't really matter. Maybe you have both, and that's really cool. I have uploaded the file so that you can print the worksheet that goes along with this video. Feel free to fill it out. Pause the video if you need to when we get to those certain parts. I have my worksheet here in front of me, so I may look down at times. I apologize. I just want to make sure I'm following in line with that. Um, or you can watch the whole video and then come back and fill it out after the fact. Whatever you do, just make sure you do the worksheet and put those steps into place, because that's really what the big purpose of this is today. It's not really to just identify your goal, but how are we going to accomplish it? Like, that's the most important part. So, and I want to help you do that. I definitely want to help you get there. I want to help you achieve some goals, because we're going to make this year completely a huge success. And I can't wait to watch all of you just do amazing things. So go ahead and print that out if you didn't already, and we're going to start talking about the goal planning. So I kind of mentioned, if you don't have those steps in place, that it really isn't a goal. Let's face it, it's just a wish or a dream. And I've been guilty of this as well. You know, there's something that I want. I've talked about moving to the Carolinas. I've talked about going to Italy. I have a lot of things, and I say my goal is to go to Italy. My goal is to move down south. The reality is that it's really just been a dream or a wish. I haven't done anything to put that goal into action yet. There's been other goals that I've been focused on. Now that's kind of changing. Now there are steps in motion for both of those goals, ironically. But prior to just recently, they were a wish and a dream. And I'm sure you've met people like that too. I'm sure you've been that person where you've talked about doing something. You want to go somewhere. You want to get that new car. You want to start a business. I meet a lot of people that say that they want to start a business. And they may come to me and meet with me, and they're like, Deanna, I have this idea and I want to do this. And it's a really, really good idea. And all they have to do is to put certain steps into motion, and they don't do it. You've got to take action. Excuse me. I've got this terrible cough. Um, but you have to take action. Just wanting to do something, just thinking about doing something, doesn't mean anything. It's taking the steps to accomplish it. That's the part that's the most important. It's figuring out what you need to do to get from point A to point B. Until you do that, you're not going to be successful. You're just going to be spinning your wheels. So today, if you've never done that before, we're going to do that. We're going to start setting some goals, or if you want to step it up, or you've got one goal that you're ready to tackle, whatever that may be, today's the day. So get those worksheets out. On that worksheet, I defined two different things: a goal and goal setting. And I'm going to read it just so I don't fumble exactly what it means. But the definition of a goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or a desired result. So that makes sense, right? I think we all know what a goal is. Goal setting is the process of identifying something you want to accomplish and establishing measurable goals and timeframes. Now, that's the key. That's the big difference between um, an idea and making that idea come into fruition. So, if you follow through, the next thing I have is SMART. Now, SMART is something you may have heard about already. It's not anything I created, but you may not have, and this might be the first time that you're hearing it. But SMART is a way that you get to accomplish that goal. S is specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R realistic, and T is timely. And all of those components, those 5 components, are really important in defining how you're going to reach that goal. The first thing I want you to do, and again, you can pause this video and work through that worksheet, or you can listen to everything and then go back and fill it out. But I want you to think about your goal, and I want you to be specific. about what that goal is. Now, I'm all about details. I want to come up with as many details and make it as clear as possible. And I think that's because I'm a visual person. I do my visual boards when I'm doing my goal planning. I have to write things out. I want to see it. Visually, I want to create in my mind every single detail that I can imagine of whatever that goal is. I want to see myself in it. I want to feel it, taste it, smell it, whatever it looks like. But be specific when you're creating that goal. The next thing is measurable. So you want to be able to measure that goal. In the beginning, um, beginning of the year, everybody says they want to lose weight. I apologize again. So how are you going to measure what that goal is? Well, with losing weight, it's easy because you can say every pound or 5 pounds or whatever it may look like. But you can measure it by pounds. You can measure it by sales, dollar amounts. You can measure by the number of networking events that you attend. Whatever your goal is. I mean, we can go on and on. I know we all can think of different things, but you want it to be measurable. So how are you going to measure this goal and define when you get to each level? Achievable. Now, I think achievable and realistic kind of go hand in hand. They're similar but yet different. Achievable is that you want to make sure that it is something that you can actually achieve. If you want to and I'll just stick with losing weight because that's just kind of a common one that I think many of us have said, but you know, achievable. Losing 15 pounds is achievable. Um, Losing 100 pounds may or may not be achievable, depending on what weight you are. So you want to make sure that that's achievable. Realistic, losing 15 pounds in a week. Probably not really realistic or healthy. So you want to make sure that whatever goal you're setting is also realistic, that you can achieve it in the time that you set. And the next thing, of course, with T is timely. So you want to set a time frame, and this is really important. Both the measurable and the time are two components of this that are going to hold you accountable. I am so sorry. Um, but both of those are going to hold you accountable to hit that goal and to make sure that you're doing it the way that you need to be doing it. So, what's that time frame? You're going to create your business plan. By what time? You're going to network with so many people. Hit 5 networking meetings in a 30-day period. Whatever. So fill that sheet out. But when you're doing your goal, go through and fill each category out. And I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. There's something else that I want you guys to think about that not always gets mentioned when you're talking about goal planning, but I think it is so important. And that's the obstacles that you're going to hit. Let's face it, whatever we do, you're going to run into obstacles all the time. Um, so, what obstacles do you think you may hit? And what I want you to do with that is think about what are you going to do when those obstacles come up? If, let's face it, we'll go back to losing weight. So you set this goal, you come up with everything that you're going to measure. You come up with a specific time, the weight that you want to be, the time frame that you're going to do. It's achievable and it's realistic. Everything is in place. You're going to go to the gym certain days a week. At a certain time. You're going to start to eat healthy, eat out less. You're going to do all these things. And then what happens? It's snowing, the bed is cozy, it's freezing outside. The thought of leaving your warm bed is an obstacle. Or you worked all day and you're exhausted. You've had the client from hell who totally beat you down, and you just want to go home, pour a glass of wine, and go to bed. Just forget the day happened, right? Going to the gym is not what you want to do right now. You don't want to work out or whatever. So there's obstacles that come up. So what I want you to think about when you're doing these goals, or what obstacles might come up. You may not be able to get the funding for your business. You may not have the budget to do what you want to do? What obstacles are going to prevent you from doing that? And I want you to think of ways you're going to overcome it. Write it down, get real, and there's going to probably be more things that come up that you don't think about. But if you can think of certain things that may stop you, then that's going to help when they do come up, because they will come up. It's going to help you put into place what you've decided to overcome that obstacle. So when you go through, off to the side, just write your obstacles and how you're going to overcome it. um, I mentioned on there that having it visual is like, I'm a visual person, but I think writing down your goals, I think doing it visually and putting it somewhere that you can see it are so very important. You want to hold yourself accountable to achieving those goals. So if you write it on a post-it note and stick it on your computer or put it on your mirror, or I hang my visual board where I see it every day and I'm reminded of it. I've even put different things, images, or my goal in my phone and had a screenshot of it and kept it as my wallpaper. So every time I look at my phone, I'm seeing what my goal is. It's in front of my face. And let's face it, how many times do we look at our phone? I would guess hundreds of times a day, a week. I mean, it's crazy. I know most of us look at our phone quite a bit. So putting it on that, something, using it as your wallpaper, just always be aware of that goal and don't give up. Just keep going after that. Um, excuse me. When you think about your goal and what you want to accomplish, um, I want you to think about what you're currently doing and what that goal is, that you want to achieve. And I want you to get real with yourself. I mean, really look in the mirror. If you have a business right now and you're working your business and you've got your business plan and you're doing things on your business plan, or you're doing things that you write down on your goal sheet, and if you're saying that this is really important to you, then I want you to ask yourself, if this was your last opportunity to make that happen, would you still be doing everything you're doing right now? So, and this isn't something I can answer. I've asked it before. I've asked myself that before. And usually the answer is no, there's more I can be doing, or I could be doing it better, smarter, um, whatever that may be. But when you're doing your goals, really, really get real with yourself. Don't just say, like, here's my goal, here's my checklist, my smart checklist. I filled it out and it looks all nice and pretty and it totally makes sense and it's absolutely achievable and you can do it. But you're not really working it the way you need to be working it. Be real with yourself. Hold yourself accountable. What would you be doing differently if that was the very last opportunity you had to be successful at whatever that goal is? And write that down and start doing it. Definitely start doing it. There are some things that I suggest, when you're doing, when you have goals and you come up against your obstacles and just something to keep in mind. I'm sorry if I'm going all over the place, but with every problem, there's a solution. So don't look at an obstacle as being a defeat. Look at it as a victory. Because when you're faced with something that's an obstacle, when you overcome it, because you will overcome it, you are so much smarter and stronger than you were before that obstacle was in front of you. And if it's helping you reach that goal, I mean, just go for it, man. Don't let it stop you. For every problem, there is a solution. For every problem, there's a solution. So just remember that. Just find that solution. One thing I want you to do, though, when you're coming up with some things, and I wrote this down just as my own notes, something that's, coming up with your goal is do your research. Whatever that plan is that you have, do your research so that you know what's achievable, you know what's realistic, that you can be specific. Get a mentor. Have somebody who mentors you, who's there to help guide you, someone that helps push you outside of your limits, someone who makes you uncomfortable, because you want to get uncomfortable. Until you're uncomfortable, you're not going to be successful. So find a mentor who's going to help push you out of that, who's going to hold you accountable for whatever goals that you have. Ask questions. Make sure you're asking a lot of questions. Don't feel like you're a pest. Ask me questions on our Facebook group. I've got Q&A. Ask me whatever question you want, and I will answer them on Thursday, or I'll answer you in the Facebook group. Um, I want to be able to provide you with whatever answers that I have. Think about what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And this goes hand in hand with me when I was telling you to be real with yourself. Know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. So when you're setting your goals, knowing what your strengths are, some obstacles are going to be easier to overcome than others when you know what your weaknesses are. When do you thrive? And when do you shut down? So think about all those, because put yourself in an environment when you're going to thrive, and avoid those times when you're going to shut down. Sometimes it's not realistic. Sometimes you are going to be in an area that makes you want to shut down. And being in the area that you thrive isn't as possible for you to be in right now. And that's okay. But being aware of what those two areas look like, or what those circumstances look like, is going to help you when you're coming up with those obstacles and figuring out ways to overcome them. Um, you know, you want to make sure that when you do your goals, that these goals are about you. Nobody else. They're your goals. You're the one that's held accountable. You're responsible for them. You are the one that are either you're going to be successful or you're going to fail at them. And we're just looking at success, because I know that everybody's going to be really successful at this. So, but when you create your goals, don't put down what you think your parent wants, your spouse wants, your boss wants. Put down what you want. Put down what's achievable for you, what's realistic for you. Don't look off of your neighbor and say, well, that's what they're doing, so I can do it too. Maybe you're beyond them and your goal needs to be bigger. Maybe they're beyond you and your goal needs to be smaller. And once you hit that goal, then you can set the further one. But just look within yourself. These are all very, very personal goals. These aren't goals that somebody else, you can just take from someone else or someone can take from you. You want to, you're in control of this. Keep reevaluating those goals. What you're going to achieve them, and you're going to tweak them. The goals that you set today, you're going to go down, you may hit a crossroad, and you're going to realize that that goal kind of changed a little bit. Something you couldn't see today is going to come up down the road. And that's okay to tweak it. Take them back out, modify it where it needs to be modified, make it better, make it stronger, make it more accurate for where you are at that moment. Constantly reevaluate those goals. Don't just think that if you hit a roadblock and the way to overcome that roadblock takes you in a slightly different direction, if you're still going in the direction of that goal, that's okay. Just tweak that goal plan, tweak how you're going to achieve it or how you measure it or the time frame, and just keep pushing forward. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up over the little defeats. Like I said, look at them as little victories. Look, these challenges are good. I'll tell you what, when you change your mindset about a challenge, your whole attitude changes, and really nothing can stop you. The sky's the limit. It really is, because a challenge doesn't mean that it's dead in the water, that it's a roadblock. A challenge is a good thing. It's making you stronger and smarter and better at what you're doing. And last but not least, have fun. Have a great time with this. Set your goals. Write them down. Make them visible. Be specific. Use the technique on that worksheet and write them out. Hang them where, wallpaper your house with it. I don't care. Just make sure that you see it, that you're aware of it, that you're holding yourself accountable, and don't give up. Just keep posting and keep moving forward and keep making those goals. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or message it on the Facebook group, whatever is convenient for you, not for me, whatever's convenient for you. Just don't hesitate. I'm here for you guys. I appreciate you guys, and have a great day.